In this episode of Toysbackzen, we're going to be taking a look at these G1 Shrapnel Insecticon transformers, and we're going to try to make one complete unbroken shrapnel out of these two. Now there is some obvious differences between these two here. You can see that his horn, or whatever this is here, is broken on the left side. So this guy who's got all of the nice stickers, he is missing the Decepticon sticker. I have some extra ones somewhere, so we will replace that. The other Insecticon, the other shrapnel here, he is completely bare except for his rub sticker here, which I believe still works, and this one does too. I'm going to try to keep this shrapnel because it has all the stickers, but this one is quite loose, where this one is really actually pretty tight. So another thing that I'm noticing is that this is a good horn, so I'm going to be replacing this horn here. And I'm not too worried about that because this horn here has got a broken piece too. So this one's just going to be a donor for parts after this. I may make a new piece for the horns here, but I think I'm just going to use this as a donor transformer. So the first thing we have to do is figure out how this comes apart. We've got a couple screws here, and there is a seam in the middle of the top body part, and that's going to come apart. Now the problem with taking the one with the stickers apart is that there is a sticker across that seam right here, and it kind of crosses the seam here a little bit. That'll be easy to peel off a bit, but peeling these stickers off, because they're like a foil sticker, the stickers always get really damaged. You can see here where I started to peel this one off, and it's starting to damage here and here, and I don't want to damage the stickers, so I might have to cut these stickers in the middle. I think it'll save the stickers and keep them nice, even though there will be a cut seam there. I think it will be worth doing. There's a lot of loose legs and arms on this one, and we also have screws that we might be able to tighten those up. If not, then we'll use a technique I've shown before, and we'll tighten these joints. That way when he's transformed, he'll either stand or stay in the position of the insect or the robot. So let's get into this. Okay, so we're going to take this one here, and we're going to take this apart and use this as our control subject to see how it comes apart and how easy it is. It shouldn't be that hard. That way we can swap out these pieces. Let's get started. So you can see here that he came apart pretty easy. There's some interesting reveals inside this toy. It looks like somebody put some kind of clay or Play-Doh in there, smushed it all in, and so even though I'm going to be using this as parts, I might decide someday to restore this or maybe rebuild it, because it is tight. And so I'm going to clean all of this out. But you can see here it's pretty easy to take these apart. 4 screws, 2 in the back here and then 2 in the torso, and it just comes apart. Now these are die cast. The back is plastic, but the front is die cast. And then these pieces that we need are just pegged into there. So here is the piece that I want. So we're going to use that. We're going to take these stickers on the side here and we're going to cut them in half. That way I don't have to peel them off and ruin the looks of them. I think either way, they are going to be compromised. At least they're still flat and they're not wrinkly and damaged by pulling them off. So let's see if we can get this apart like I did the other one, and we'll get it back together. Now, if you are taking this apart yourself, please be aware that the shoulder screws are longer than the hip screws. So these are for the top and these are for the bottom. Now, I also want to address a lot of the issues that this one has, but they both had a little bit of an issue when it came to loose joints. And what we'll notice here is that the legs and the arms have screws. And I think if we tighten those screws a little tiny bit, we don't want to tighten it too much because then we'll just break the plastic. This one here is pretty tight. And this one here is really loose. So let's tighten this one first and see if that makes a difference. Oh yeah, that was really loose. And that is nice and tight now. That is great. I didn't think it was going to be that easy. Long screws in the shoulders. Short screws in the hips. And there's our shrapnel. You can see his arm is nice and tight. We've tightened that screw in there. And I think we can probably tighten these really easily by tightening these screws. So let's do that. Like I said, you don't want to tighten them too tight because then you can bust the plastic. And I didn't even really that's too tight. I didn't even hardly turn them at all. That one stays up nicely. This one is, if you tighten it too much, it won't move, and that worries me because I don't want to break the leg. So we might need to do a different technique to tighten these without breaking these legs or any plastic. I'm going to get this cleaned up, and I'll put this back together, and then we'll come back and put some new chrome on that horn using Molotow liquid chrome pen. So I just chromed the left horn. You can see that there's not much of a difference between the original one and the chromed one. Now that chrome has to sit for at least 3 weeks before we can touch this again. So we'll let that sit for a bit, and then in a couple weeks we'll come back and we'll finish it up, tightening the joints and the hips and getting a new sticker for the front. It's been a couple weeks and I've had a chance to let those horns dry with that chrome, and it's looking really good. You'd have a hard time, I think, telling which one has been chromed with the liquid chrome and which one is real chrome. So I've got the arm. It's tight now. This one was the tight one. This is the one that's tight. And I tried tightening these, and I found that it was just either it was when I just tightened it a little tiny bit, they would not move. And I don't want to break the plastic right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a dropper like this, and I'm going to just drop a little bit of floor polish on that joint, and we'll see if that will make those legs a little tighter. So I'm using this. I've been using this for a while. You've probably seen this in a couple of my other videos. Rejuvenate, it's floor polish. It goes on as a cloudy liquid and then it dries clear. Just want to work those into the joints. We'll let that sit for like a couple hours and then we'll come back and check that out. So here I have those Toy Hacks stickers that I was telling you about. These were free at a toy show that I went to, and I think I'm going to be using that size right there. And it just goes on his chest right here. That looks better. There's one more thing I want to do to tighten up these joints, and these legs, I've already done this one just to see if it would work, but they're a little loose, and when you're standing him up, I don't want those to push in. So there are some screws right here, and I think if we tighten those screws up, like I said, a little tiny bit, because this is plastic, I don't want to break the plastic or crack it, to see if that makes a difference. And it does. When you bring it down to the bottom, it actually creates enough friction that holds it in place. You can feel it when it comes down. It stops and it makes it tighter. Let's see if I can do that just a little tiny bit more. That one's pretty tight. But the bottom one's a little loose. There, actually, that made a bigger difference there. So there he is, complete. We have tight joints, all of his original stickers except for the one in the front that I replaced with the Toy Hack sticker. We've got his fixed horn that's been re-chromed, and he's all clean and ready to display on the shelf. So there he is as an insect. His legs are holding up and his arms are holding up. He looks great. Of course, I'm going to be probably displaying him as a robot on my shelf. So thanks for watching this episode of Toysbackzen. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you like what you see here and you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, and follow me by hitting that notification bell. So thanks for watching. Take care.